this bass fishing revolution that we live amongst will not be televised. It will be live. And a new day will dawn for those who stand long. In the forests, in the streams, in the lakes will echo with what? Laughter.
Laughter.
Absolutely. And speaking of laughter, it is Wednesday night. It is Stray Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. I'm your host, Pat Renwick. And let the glorified version begin right now. Full house again tonight on a Wednesday.
It will be televised.
Look at you.
It is being televised.
What
currently.
is?
This. You said it will not be televised.
I was just quoting Jim Morrison stuff.
know.
That's all I was doing. It makes no sense.
Just didn't want to confuse people.
Yes, I parallel rock music lyrics with bass fishing. It's just something that happens in my mind, and I don't know
I never
why.
noticed you do that.
Yeah, I just don't know why. And yes, I did use to live in Boca Raton, Florida. We're back. You can tell we're excited. We were off last week, but the shenanigans continue. Coming on the show again, and I always refer to our producer for this. How many times has Andy Morgan been on the show?
One Wednesday, 2 cups.
One Wednesday, 2 cups, and now this is 3. 2 Wednesdays and 2 cups.
Don't Google
and
that.
a dollop of
One Wednesday,
and a dollop of something. But Andy Morgan's coming on first. Yes. What did he say?
That was fantastic.
One Wednesday and 2 cups. That was inside Stray Cast lingo. That was producer shit talk right there. That's what that was right there. Then, for the first time ever on this show tonight, a champion of Winya Bay, Bassmaster Elite Series champion. Take it easy back there, kids. Stetson Blaylock coming on. Yes. Oh, my goodness gracious. The jig is up. The news is out. They finally found him. And when I say they finally found him, I'm referring to this guy straight out of the loony bin. Don't look left. Don't look right. Don't look up. Don't look down. It's Ryan Popcorn Yes, sir. Whitaker. Ryan Popcorn Whitaker. He plays drums. He skateboards. And he bass fishes.
Yeah.
Out of those 3, what's your favorite?
All of them.
All of the above.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
They're all the best.
But you would pick bassin', right?
I would probably pick bass, and I do bassin' the most.
And he also can whistle Dixie with throat clears.
That's right.
Phenomenal. Way to clear your throat right there. That's Ryan Popcorn Whitaker. He's my buddy. He's my sidekick. He's the co-host of Stray Cast.
Roll Tide.
Yes, sir. Rolling Tide. Speaking of rolling Tide, we're rolling around the horn here to the next guy. He's handling your social media needs and desires tonight on the chat board. Ladies and gentlemen, he's the OG hip-hop fisherman. It's my buddy. Hi. It's JP High. Are you dynamite? It's JP High. He's dynamite. He's the OG Ned Rig, Lord of the Dark Web. JP High, the hip-hop fisherman. How you doing, JP?
Good. What's up, guys?
You are officially a Hoosier now. You have left.
Not yet.
You have left the Windy City, Chirac, as they like to call it. Do they call it Chirac in Chirac, or do we just call it Chirac in Indiana?
That's just you guys.
That's just us.
Yeah, you all think we get shot every day, too.
You do. It's a true story. I saw it on the news.
He's also a brand new member of the 6-Pound Club.
Of the 6-Pound Smallmouth Club.
That's right.
Yes.
6-Pound Illinois Smallmouth Club. That's it's a short list.
Did he get the patch from Bass?
I'm working on one.
What was that, the Lunker Club?
The Lunker Club.
He's in the Lunker Club. He's in the brown fish with red eye Lunker Club. What'd you catch that on, JP?
A tightrope jig.
What else?
Why not?
An Alpha Anglerzilla.
How appropriate. You see how he did that? We're teaching JP how to do sponsor plugs. It's pretty amazing.
But true story.
It is a true story.
Where do you get those tightrope jigs?
You don't know.
eBay.
Yeah, basically got to get them from people you know, because I know the guys that own the company, but they don't seem to have any.
There's some downstairs.
They don't, coming over to Hammond right now.
Those are accounted for.
Ladies and gentlemen, the man who is in an exceptional mood tonight. He's glowing with excitement. Are you pregnant, Ginger?
Yeah.
I can tell. Ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Hellenberger, the Ginger Ninja. He's a secret agent. Fights the hell out of crime and produces the hell out of this show.
He's pregnant with emotion.
Wednesday nights, yes. Absolutely, he is. Hey, great things going on in the bass fishing world. Don't forget, if you want to keep up to date on the world of bass fishing with a little twist and a little view, go to bassblaster.rocks, Jay Kumar's deal. Sign up for the bi-weekly email and entertain yourself.
Yes,
That's all I'm
sir.
saying. Hey, and speaking of educational values of bass fishing, don't forget bassu.tv. That's where you'll learn how to bass fish, straight from the best instructors in the business, professionals themselves.
Best education.
Yeah, not Ronnie from the bait shop.
No.
No, we're talking the real deal.
Yeah.
The real deal.
He's going to tell you to get out in the middle of the lake.
That's where all the
That's
fish
where
are.
all the fish
I had
are.
a guy tell me that on Easter Sunday, and he was sure as hell right. Saw me slinging that Vision 110 as far as I could.
You know why you ain't catching any? They're all out in the middle.
They're all out in the middle, boy.
They always say you should have been here last week. They
That's-
were
yeah.
really biting.
Should have been here
that's
last week.
Well, speaking of should have been here last week, and speaking of should have been, well, we weren't here last week, but should have been here 2 weeks prior, we've been having the April Fool's Season 4, 4th month, Stray Cast Hella Mega Pack giveaway.
Super mega.
Right. Could you repeat that, please?
Super mega hella.
It's the Season
pack
4,
giveaway.
April 4th, past 3 shows, Super Hella Mega Pack
April Fool's.
Stray Cast
It's
giveaway.
not a joke.
This is real.
Yes.
This is a real thing. So you have been putting your names in the kitty the past few weeks. All you have to do is like and share this live Facebook feed. Like and share this live Facebook feed. You've been doing it for the past few weeks. You do it again tonight. You go into the super drawing at the end, and you get what was it, JP? $50 from TH, or a giveaway from TH Marine, giveaway from War Eagle, and a giveaway from Line and Lure.
Yep. Plus the Stray Cast swag pack.
Plus the Stray Cast
Yes, sir.
swag pack. So that's a heck of a value. I think that's valued at like 200 bones.
That's hella mega.
Yeah, it's hella mega money, and it's free stuff. All you have to do is like and share the live Facebook feed, and then they got to take it off of the don't show your privates.
Yeah, take it off private,
Yeah.
make it public, or it won't work in the randomizer.
Yes. Yeah.
Randomizer.
Take it off private.
Hide the privates.
Take it off private. Hide your private. Like and share the live Facebook feed for a chance to win the Stray Cast Mega Hella Pack, courtesy of TH Marine War Eagle, Line and Lure Conditioner, and Stray Casts. Boom. There it is. It's that easy. Like and share the post.
Mega hella boom.
Mega Hella Boom. Hey, I'm Pat Renwick. Put the power poles down. Don't go anywhere. We're coming right back with the greatest of all time, Andy Morgan. Ciao. Step up your game. It has been said that professionals are only as good as the tools they work with, and Alpha Angler has developed the ultimate set of tools for you, the competitive angler. Alpha Angler custom rods, brought to fruition by the passion of master craftsman Jake Boomer and 2017 BASS Angler of the Year Brandon Palaniuk. Alpha Angler rods are custom made in the USA. Designed and engineered to be perfect, Alpha Angler utilizes a very unconventional approach to making the very best bass rods, from drop shotting to flipping. Alpha Angler's focus is on building perfectly balanced tournament-grade bass rods at an affordable price. Join the Alphalution today and purchase direct at alphaangler.com. Step up your game. alphaangler.com.
The TH Marine Hydrowave H2 KVD Edition is a surefire way to ignite a feeding frenzy. The Hydrowave utilizes a sound-emitting technology that imitates bait fish and other feeding fish below the surface that preys on the competitive nature of bass and other game fish to get you more bites. The Hydrowave is another way that TH Marine has you covered from transom to trolling motor.
want to throw farther, get some Kevin Van Dam's line and lure. You can launch it a mile. Still going. Better stick to fishing.
Hey guys, Micah Frazier here. I've got a bait from War Eagle Baits called the Buzz Toad. Big thing lately has been putting a toad style bait on a buzz bait, and preferably it's my favorite way to fish one. This bait here's got a quick planing head, a great hook, and it squeals right out of the package. The body of this bait is big and bulky, so it allows you to skip it. It planes quicker than a skirted bait would. In my opinion, it's just the way to fish a buzz bait. So y'all check this thing out. It's pretty awesome.
All right. Welcome back. Pretty good. Pretty neat. Now, I'm Pat Renwick. This is Stray Cast, the glorified version of a bass fishing talk show. We are super excited to bring to you right now, it looks like from some mobile apparatus somewhere in the country, the champion of Chickamauga, MLF Tour Pro, Andy Morgan, coming on the show right now via the Skype machine. Yes. Welcome back, Andy.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the big W, man.
It was a great week, man. A great week.
No doubt about. Where are you right now? You're in your truck?
I am. I was actually fixing to go in and eat supper here just a little bit, so we're just hanging out and waiting on you guys to give us a ring.
Oh, there it is. At least you're not driving. Jordan Lee called us one time pulling his boat driving through Louisville on Skype. I was extremely nervous. I'm not going to lie, Andy. I was very nervous.
I'm not surprised.
It could have gone horribly wrong or horribly right, depending on how you looked at it. I don't know.
You betcha.
No, man. But, dude, welcome back. It's always good to see you, and welcome back to Stray Cast. I want to make a few observations here first off the bat.
Yep.
You're referred to by many as the GOAT, okay? I mean, we've heard about it. We heard this, but I want to tell you, to me, you're much more than a GOAT, all right? Yes, you are far superior than a GOAT. A GOAT is awkward and loud and stumbly. You're more like a gazelle. You're like the gazelle of bass fishing. I mean, I'm being serious, man, and I mean this respectfully. I watch professional bass fishing. I am a fan of the sport. I got it real bad, Andy, okay? I not only like to catch them, I like to watch it too, okay? But I learned from watching professional anglers, and you are very graceful, man. You are very graceful on the water. Have people told you that, or have you noticed that about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a couple people say that before. They said, had a guy the other day standing on the bank. It was, man, you're smooth.
That's a great description.
Well, I think.
Yeah. Goats aren't smooth. And as a Cub fan, we're not fond of goats. Gazelle. We'll go with Gazelle.
The smooth gazelle.
The gazelle.
There you go. I mean, but you really are, man. I mean, so I would describe the gentleman on the bank described you as a smooth angler. I describe you as a fluid, agile angler. How do you describe yourself as an angler, Andy?
Oh, I don't know. I guess more just persistent than anything. And I do. When the guy said that kind of stuck. I've always said, kind of slow and steady wins the race. If you can be smooth and you can set a pace, and you can set a pace that you're going forward and be smooth about it, you can get a lot more ground covered being smooth than you can being herky-jerky.
There it is. That's the gazelle. That is the gazelle.
I believe you nailed it.
Yeah. Could you imagine life without bass fishing? Could you imagine it?
Man, no.
No,
because I really don't know anything else. I mean, that's what I was raised around. That's what I've always wanted to do since I was, 13, 14, 15 years old. I thought then I could make a living at this. And, this is back a long time ago. There was no high school fishing.
Right.
In my head. So that being said, I thought there was opportunity then. Of course, now there's tremendous opportunity now. And, I think that's a pretty good model to go by. I made it, just an old redneck from Tennessee. So, that.
And you're doing all right.
A lot of people possibly make their mind up that you can do it. So
you're doing, and you talked about the roots or the foundation. You made your mind up, and I'd like to read you a little passage from a bass fishing Bible, in my opinion. And this is Roland Martin's 101 Bass Fishing Secrets. Maybe one of the.
I've got it.
I mean, everyone that's a serious bass fisherman should have this and read this. And I want to start this here about the roots of bass fishing with this little excerpt here. Okay, I'm going to read it to you. It's called The Flipper's Farewell, Andy. That's what Roland called this, okay? And he said, when I'm looking for a fallen tree to flip, I'm thinking about boat control. The best way to sneak up on that log and get the best cast. Because we all know that we usually catch the best fish on the first cast. But if you're fishing with another guy, he's probably going to want to make a long cast and ruin that spot. So you better control your damn co-angler and tell him not to make a cast until you get to the tree. Roland Martin's 101 Bass Fishing Secrets. Of course, I modified that.
I felt like I should be getting tucked in.
Yes, that was a bedtime story.
That was a bedtime story. Yeah.
But I eat that stuff up, man. I mean, that book right there, the first time I read that, I think I had to read it 3 more times. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I do.
That book right there is a foundation of bass fishing to me. Just as a foundation of bass fishing might be that first rod and reel combo, right? That we might get. Do you remember what your first rod and reel combo, like bait casting rod and reel combo was, Andy?
I really don't. Other than I know, I remember the reel was a 4600.
Okay, an old Ambassador, yeah.
Oh, yeah, an old 4600. I don't remember the gear ratios or whatever those were back then.
Sure.
But there was like a 4600. Was there a 5000 and a 5500?
Sounds right. Yep.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, that's it, bud. That's it. And then do you remember, that was my first one was a 5000, an old Ambassador 5000. And then I got to working a little bit, saving up some rubles, and I was able to buy my own best bait casting rod and reel in the world. You remember that exciting moment?
Yeah.
And what was that for you? What was that combo for you?
Man, dropped my phone.
Oh, where's Andy? Oh, there he is.
I don't remember the brand much other than I do remember, I believe it was a Fenwick.
Okay.
I do remember my first flipping stick.
Gotcha. The old D.
Those
Thomas
were,
model?
we had like big spinning rods.
Yeah.
Those were the very first ones, which you know how awkward that was. But anyway, I do remember the first one that you had a casting reel on was a Fenwick.
Oh, yeah, man.
That's the first really good one that I had that stuck around for a long time.
Absolutely. And I remember saving my money to go buy the Shimano Bantam mag. Like when they first...
I remember I had a Bantam.
Oh, they put those magnets in a bass fishing reel. That was a big deal, Andy.
Big deal, man. Oh, yeah, I remember that.
But it's the evolution of the sport, and you just talked about it, the big, oversized spinning casting rod. In that book, 101 Bass Fishing Secrets, Roland is flipping with, get this, a 6,000 size Ambassador and a saltwater rod.
That's it. That's all it was. There wasn't a flipping stick.
It's like a boat winch.
Dacron line.
And I can remember when we got those flipping sticks, it was like you opened up a new world.
Exactly.
It was like you penetrated cover, treetops, undercut banks. You got places that nobody was throwing anything. It was like, oh my God, it's the Holy Grail. We struck,
and it's such a no-brainer, isn't it, Andy? The evolution of flipping. These guys were taking cane poles with pieces of leather and baby bottle nipples and treble hooks, and popping them around stumps and catching fish.
I've done it.
You really have? You've done that?
I've done it.
What do you call that? Doodle socking.
That's it.
That's the old
jig. Like that. We had some guys around here that done that for years, and they would always catch the biggest bass in the lake every spring. And a lot of times we'd even do it at night when the water got clear. You'd go out and do that at night. But yeah, I've been a part of that, and you could catch some amazing stringers like that. It's crazy. You would never think you could get that close and catch them like that. Super effective.
And it's like somebody throws a bowling ball in the water sometimes, huh?
Oh, it was nuts, man. It was absolutely nuts. And I believe that's what a lot of the rod restriction came from. You know, you could only use, I believe, what was an 8-foot rod was the longest you could use.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I believe that was probably why, because the rods we used were 12 foot to do the doodle socking.
Is that what you called it? Did you call it doodle socking or jigger
poling?
Poling?
That's what everybody called it around.
Okay, gotcha.
Doodle socking or jig poling.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Jig poling.
Yeah, we should have just a derb with that. Just doodle socking or jig poling.
That you can mash them, man. You could absolutely. You could wipe a creek out at night. It's like you could catch almost every one of them. It was nuts at times.
Maybe MLF will have a doodle socking round.
They might.
But can we do that?
Never say never.
Can we call it the Stray Cast doodle socking round of MLF?
The third period. Just cut it down.
A lot of people don't know what in the hell we're talking about.
I know, but I'm loving it. So, all right. The last part of the evolution of angling that I want to talk to you about is where we learn the tools of the trade. Okay, we get all excited. We're reading in Bassmaster magazine about the best baits that we could possibly use, and now we get to apply them. So you figure out what a spinnerbait does, what a crankbait does, what a flip jig does. Tell us a little bit about your learning process and your trial and error period when you were figuring this whole thing out, about the tools of the trade.
The tools of the trade, mine were really simple, and you kind of named them all basically right there. We were spinnerbait, jig, flippers is how I was kind of brought up.
Okay.
I was raised in the river end of Lake Chickamauga. So you're basically talking shallow flat water, undercut banks, trees, etc. So we learned the tools of the spinnerbait, which it's of course been around forever. But I knew some of the first guys that ever even threw spinnerbaits when they first came out.
Wow.
So, yeah, I'd roll back into that to the old Vibra Queen, the Vibra King.
Sure.
You probably heard of all of that stuff. Then we got into the flipping portion. My whole evolution evolved through shallow.
Okay.
Everything that I done was basically shallow because I lived in the river end, and it was like almost to go to the bottom end of the lake where there was some structure and some deeper water that fish held in more often was like, that's a day trip, man. That was like a long way away from home. So it's like if you strayed more than 10 or 12 miles from your home ramp, you were taking a pretty good little trip.
That's an exotic vacation.
It was. So I never even really learned the bottom end of Chickamauga very well until it was way later in life. Till I ventured out and started structure fishing, and when that all became popular and etc. And I was in on some of the first really good structure fishing there was around too, and it kind of tells on my age a little more. But
that was you and Buck Perry, right?
Shallow with the shallow water tools, which are still the same shallow water tools that we use today, other than the chatterbait.
Yeah, that you basically just one chick on, except the chatterbait.
Correct.
and I've been. And I shouldn't say that because the lipless crankbait does play a big role in a majority of spring tournaments. Yes. We haven't been hearing about it the last few years in tour level events. But this year, it's like, look at Ott just won the Classic, part on the lipless bait. You win in here. What is that? I mean, is it just why?
It's been around forever.
Sure.
And that's another factor that I kind of failed to mention when I first came up. We didn't do a whole lot of, we called it rattle trapping because that was the lipless bait back then. The first few years I fished, we didn't do that much lipless stuff. But say 4 or 5 years in, time I was 15 or 16, we kind of caught on to that deal. I lived into the flat end of the lake. You're fishing mud flats a lot of times. There's very limited cover, but those fish would still push shallow. They would still chase bait. And that lipless bite was a big, big deal. So I learned that early on in life, and especially some of the places that I caught them during this Chickamauga event. Those are places that I fished back 25 years ago. They're the same. You know, the good Lord don't create any more structure that's in the lake.
Yeah, right.
Free fall in every once in a while, but the original stumps are the original stumps, and the structure is the structure. Nothing has really changed other than we've got a little better tackle. Instead of a wrap, I'm using a red-eye shad.
You're still sitting in the same pews is what you're saying.
Exactly, 100%. Well put.
That's awesome, man. But, I mean, a lot of people are afraid to throw that lipless bait or rattle trap in stuff that's not grass. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, I've used that as a tool all over the country, you know, from what I've learned right here on the Tennessee River. You know, Fort Loudon's the Tennessee River. We're one on the lipless, Chickamauga, Gunnersville, etc. Yeah, it works a lot of different places that fish are 3 foot or shallower, especially. I don't know that there's a better way to catch them, especially when they're chasing any kind of bait. When they're on a thread fin bite, which I think is the strongest bite that those fish are actually feeding on, in say, you know, April, May, or March, April, May type deals, that lipless bait will catch them anywhere that they chase and eat minnows.
And especially that little one, man. We switched to that quarter ouncer a lot of time. Oh boy,
catch everything in the lake.
3/16 ouncer,
6-incher to a 10-pounder.
Yeah, absolutely. Throw that little one on the heavy line. There's something magic about it.
Fish are really shallow too,
and that's how you use it too. The shallower you want the bait to go, the shallower you're fishing. You just up the line size. It's really simple.
And it just makes you feel better when you got that heavy line.
It does. It does.
Heavy line, tiny hooks.
Yeah, it's no big deal.
Yeah. No, wind them in.
Man, but, you know, again, congratulations on Chick. And it's I hate saying it, but it just like we said to Odd, it was your tournament to lose, Andy. I mean, that's Chick, man. You know,
it was.
I mean, and you pulled it off.
I agree, you know, and I said in a couple of interviews back, you know, right after I won, I have more plaques on my wall, Chickamauga events, that say the month of April than I do anything combined. Between me and my dad, in the month of April, we won basically everything that was on the lake over so many years. There might be a year or two we went by and we came in like second. But for the most time, if it was April, we won.
You can just take the rest of the year off.
Yeah. So when this all lined out and all that weather came through and it kind of left me some of these areas that I was left alone in, it opened up a lot of doors and a lot of windows.
Wow.
How do you explain that? How do you explain the success in April or in the spring? There's obviously other people fishing out there in April.
They were. But they didn't know the water like we knew the water here. When April came about, we hunted so much out here that you know the bottom content. And that's the biggest factor is the bottom content. It's mud up here where I live. Most of these river systems, the further you go up, you get into more mud. But if you got into an area that had a little gravel or just a little clay where the bottom was hard, is where these fish would kind of stack up at from time to time. And sometimes they'll stack up like it's a ledge bite.
Wow.
You would run in that from time to time, and you could sit there and win a tournament in 10 casts. So that being said, we knew a lot of the bottom content from our duck hunting and stuff because we're out there walking the banks a lot of times.
Sure. You know where you're not falling through.
And Chickamauga is a winter drawdown. So you get to see this stuff at times when it's dry.
Yeah.
And then
that's
you go
a big factor.
And you go collecting old crankbaits too when the water's down, right?
And those old washes, those old crankbaits that get up in those old washes.
Yeah.
that is fantastic. So you guys are walking along hunting and you're like, hard bottom.
There it is. Bottom. Yeah.
Write that one down.
Drop a dot. Boom.
Yep. There wasn't no dots back then. It was like you had
the dot up here.
Go put a scratch on the tree. Yeah.
You had to log it in. So, but that held true that was a pattern all down the Tennessee River, not just Chickamauga. You knew when you found those areas what was going on.
Sure. Did you ever see the movie Caddyshack, Andy?
Absolutely.
So when the priest is golfing out there in the rain and he just doesn't want to leave?
Yep.
So was that you over in that, what was that, Bus Pond over there or whatever, when you were just...
That's so ironic you said that, because I thought of that. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was getting a bite like every other cast. I'd already made mention. I said, I am fixing to absolutely annihilate them.
That's what I thought.
They sent a text that says, we're shutting down at 8:20. I'm like, no.
You're jacking them.
Like a 3 3/4, like at 8:19 and 30 seconds, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I was fixing to just murder them.
I don't think the heavy stuff's coming for a while.
Yeah, for quite some time now. Yeah.
You were the priest in Caddyshack, absolutely.
I was.
I'd keep playing.
It's so great, man, and I love that you keep it basic, dude. Your rod and reel selection, your bait selection, and even your line selection. You still don't even change your line, right? You still have the same Gamma line from 3 years ago on your reels, right?
I don't change it all that much. I used Terry Scroggins' approach to that. It probably didn't go bad in the rod box last night. So
good enough for the last cast, good enough for the first.
Bingo, you heard it before.
I heard you tell me it before. Dude, 96 fish and 224 pounds. That's crazy. What does that even mean? That's nuts. That's a lot of fish.
That's a lot of fish. Chickamauga has a lot of fish, and honest to goodness, I thought I should have caught more.
and you kind of swept it, man. You got a bunch of wood on the ball that day.
Yeah, it was good, man. Everything lined up so perfect. The conditions were just straight down the pipe, as good as it could get, and could do no wrong that day.
Man, you're no stranger to victory. I mean, 3 AOY champs, right?
Yes, sir.
And then, what was it, 13, 14? You took 15 off to write your book, Andy Morgan's 102 Bass Fishing Secrets, I think. And then you came back in 16 and won again. All right. You got, what do you have, about 6, 7, 8 wins on the FLW tour, too?
I do. I've got several. I've won some BFLs, a couple of Everstarts, a Bass Open, one tour. So I've kind of won at every level.
So no stranger to victory by any means. Which one of those victories, whether it be your AOY victories or a particular Derby victory, sticks out to you the most? Which is the most special to you, Andy Morgan?
This was definitely the most special, this MLF victory.
Okay, gotcha. And why is that?
Well, I guess it's, I'm 47 years old now, and you get to the point, especially when you make the job change, the career change to jump over to the MLF, and you get to, and everybody says, man, which is kind of strange because I've competed against all these guys for like a long time. Well, you get to jump over here and compete with the big boys now. Well, hell, it's the same old guys, you know what I mean? But to get over here and get a win in front of your home crowd, and as far as some of the skeptics and whatnot, should Andy be over here competing? Should so-and-so be over? Just any of us in general.
Sure.
To get that win was pretty special, especially at 47 years old. It's not like I'm washed out or anything, but I was a better fisherman 10 years ago than I am now.
You think?
I think so. I think physically, really.
Okay.
You just got a stronger back.
Sure.
You got more endurance. You get a little older, you get a little tired at the end of the day, and et cetera. But your mind's still good, your mind's still strong, but sometimes you can't get everything done in a day that you would like to get done. I guess life kind of hangs you up a little more.
Here's what it is. I'm 50, and I relate to this. So I act like I'm 12, but I really am 50. So
same here.
But I think that as we get older, sometimes we talk ourselves out of stuff more. Does that make any sense?
Yes, 100%.
Because we give 0 Fs at a younger age, but then as you get older, maybe I shouldn't make that run across the lake. I only have 2 hours to fish.
That's exactly right. You start to try to put reason to a lot of things that have no reason. I see myself doing that a lot, and I'm going to save a little time. There's no need to go try that. It's not going to work anyway. Well, back when you were fresh, back when you were learning, you done better, you tried more things, you had more options, and when you get a little older, you kind of narrow that stuff down a little bit if you're not careful. Oh, yeah, I see that a lot and recognize it. So I do try to work on that a lot. Like, all right, keep an open mind.
Right. Because you get
we're
smarter.
We're going to leave all these rods on the deck. We're not going to put anything up yet. we're still going to keep our options open.
You think you're smarter than you. That's what happens.
That's exactly what happens.
Man, fishing MLF, like, I think fishing behind anybody, I don't like it. I don't like fishing behind people.
No.
But fishing behind somebody in MLF has just got to be horrible. What else do you say?
It is, man. I don't like to get, and I call it getting in a bad rotation.
Okay.
If you get in a bad rotation, which was real easy to do here at Chickamauga because the water was low, there wasn't much cover in the water, so anybody that was in front of you would trash everything that was in front of you.
Yeah.
What they didn't catch, they would spook, so it'd make it harder to catch.
Oh, turn it up, like turn it up.
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
So everything was 2 foot or shallower, so a lot of these areas that I was fishing could not take the pressure. So if you got in a bad rotation, I mean, you had to do something to get out of it. You had to jump around and go to a different area, whatever you had to do. So that's always a big factor, especially, hell, these guys, man, these 80 guys are serious, and they're fish catchers. They've made careers. They know how the game is played, and they don't miss much. Right. So you don't want to be in a bad rotation with, the 80 best in the country. That's not a good place to be. You'll be in the poorhouse pretty quick.
Yeah, because you already know what they're catching, and then if they get you behind them, it's going to drive you bonkers, and then you become smarter than yourself again.
There you go. Then you start to overthink it, and you've got like 7 pounds at the end of the round. So never works out.
Speaking of overthinking, us bass fishermen are analyzers. We analyze everything, don't we? Everything. So we're gonna, we play games on this show, Andy. You've played games with us before. We're gonna play a little game called Analyze This.
Gotcha.
All right, and I'm just gonna give you a basic little phrase or question, and you answer it and just give us a little analyzation of it, okay?
Sure.
All right. Let's call it's called Analyze This. Andy Morgan,
Wapner,
MLF Tour Pro, ready to analyze some bass fishing facts and tidbits. Andy, you constantly find yourself doing this, and you don't know why.
Maybe finally find myself doing this, and I don't know why. Flipping too much.
Flipping too much. I thought you were going to say bass fishing talk shows.
No.
Okay. A trend in modern.
Flipping too much, and that's a great answer for me. I'm like, even when it's not working, I like it way too much. I'm like, why in the hell? I hadn't had about 2 hours.
He's flipping too much. A trend in modern bass fishing you would like to see go away.
Swim baits.
Swim baits. Wow. Wow, you hurt a lot of people's feelings right there.
I'm glad I did.
big swim baits or just swim baits?
I absolutely hate it.
No swim baiting for Andy Morgan.
Swim baits.
Okay. Agree or disagree? The plastic worm is the #1 bass fishing lure of all time.
Agree.
Then why do more people not have it rigged up all the time?
I have no idea. I've won more money and caught more key fish when I had to catch one on a plastic worm than I have anything in the box. Not saying it's a giant one, but when I had to have a keeper bass, a plastic worm is hard to beat.
But Larry Nixon said he could save the world from Armageddon with a plastic worm.
That's who I learned a lot of this from, was Larry Nixon, Mick Bruce, Roland, a lot of these old guys. You better believe it, and that theory still lies, yes.
All right, put the thinking cap on. Get ready.
Yep.
Mouse is to War Eagle as kudzu is to...
Zoom.
Bazoom. There he did it. See how I threw that little sponsor plug in for us there, too? See how I did that? Okay, here's another one. Straight shank is to flipping as short shank is to...
Trebles.
Trebles, cranking. Boom. There it is. He's an analyzer.
He's locked in.
He's analyzing the hell out of this. If you were forced to fish only one spinnerbait size, color, and blade configuration, what would it be? What would that be?
I have to go with a willow, a half-ounce spinnerbait, white.
White. Double willow or willow Colorado?
You'd probably have to go Willow, Colorado.
Willow, Colorado, and white and a half ounce. Can't go wrong anywhere in the country with that, can you?
I don't think so. You'd have a little vibration or a little flash, and white's always good. So, and a half ounce is good from 7 foot to nothing. So,
there it is. Is there a better breakfast food than biscuits and gravy?
No, sir.
There is absolutely not a better breakfast food in the world than biscuits and gravy. But I'd make that clear. What angler are you most intimidated by and why?
Angler? Intimidated by?
Yeah, who intimidates you?
Oh, shoot. I don't know really anybody. I guess just the fish are sometimes intimidating, but angler-wise, we're all the same.
It's all the same.
You know, it's a war against the bass, and you got a time limit to go catch a few and go.
Y'all got your eye on the prize. That's about it.
That's it. Yeah, I don't ever think about anglers. I mean, it don't matter who's on the water. 20 pounds is 20 pounds, whoever's there.
That's right. The person at FLW who you miss seeing the most.
Oh, man, Nixon. Larry Nixon, as far as a competitor. And, of course, all the staff, Kathy Fennell, Bill Taylor, I mean, all super people and great friends of mine.
But the angler's Nixon, huh?
Yeah, I miss seeing Nixon, Ramey Colson, those guys that I traveled with. Yeah, I do miss that. I'll just tell you, I miss that whole group. Terry Bolton.
Yeah,
of course, they've done really well this year.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's kicking some butt, no doubt about it.
Oh, absolutely.
What I love about Larry Nixon is sometimes I'll just be talking to him and then he'll just say the most craziest random stuff. But it's like, it's just not even supposed to be that way. But he'll just, what was he talking about? Somebody got arrested one time or something?
Yeah.
I can't remember, but it was out of nowhere. It was beautiful bass fishing talk show moment. That's all.
Wild stories.
That's all I'm saying.
Oh, man, I've heard some of the stories. Oh, my God.
In general.
Some of the stuff I've heard is absolute epic.
He's seen a few things, man.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, a food that you just don't understand why people like it.
A food I don't. Oh my goodness, what would that be? Brussels sprouts, asparagus.
Yeah, it's garbage.
Yeah.
It's garbage.
Garbage.
It's garbage. It's rabbit food. Rabbits eat that shit.
I don't. Yeah, I don't jihad with that stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
all.
I don't. Yeah, it's
Makes
horrible.
your pee smell,
We're on
too.
the same page. We're
golly bum.
You know we're mind melding here tonight. You know that with the Caddyshack deal and Roland Martin. We just became best buds, Andy. I hope you know.
You got it. That's right. You know what just happened?
What's the biggest misconception? The biggest misconception that people might have about MLF?
Oh, I guess that it's probably, a little fish league. That's all you hear about. All you guys weighing little ones, et cetera, et cetera. It still takes bites. It still takes big ones. I mean, it's like any other bass tournament. You're trying to catch bass. It's just a little different format.
It's just a different format.
Yep.
You're out for the same prize.
Yeah, catching a big one is not a bad thing.
Hey,
Still.
Who's a bigger badass? Clint Eastwood as a detective or Clint Eastwood as a cowboy?
I'm going to say a cowboy.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
Yeah.
He's pretty cool as that detective, but you just can't beat.
Look, you can't beat Josie Wales.
No. There's nobody like the outlaw Josie
That's
Wales.
right. I got the gold right here, Paul.
You have to see his new movie Mule if you haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, give it a run. It's pretty good.
Good.
It's good to see Clint still at it. I'll tell you that. Hey, the final question, okay? The final question here of the evening. If you feel that you could get away with one rod action and length for every bass fishing technique that you do, what would that be?
Wow, I'm gonna say one rod, one length. Let's go with like a 7.4 medium heavy, a good parabolic bend. I think that would be a 7.4 medium heavy with a nice bend in it.
And you'll do everything with that.
I think so. Yeah.
You throw your spinner baits. You could put some braid on it and flip with it. You could throw a frog on it with braid. You could do the whole deal.
Yes, I just don't want something overly stiff. A little more limber is way better than way too stiff.
Yeah, right. You just change the line.
That's it.
And change the line. And speaking of changing the line, Andy, don't ever go changing your line, man, because it's working for you.
That's right. I love
good.
my line.
Just stretch it out.
That's when it's perfect.
Tie it to that stump and go backwards, right?
Stretch it out. Yeah.
Stretch it straight.
Hey, man. Thank you again so much for coming on the show, man. It's always a good time with you.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you having me. It's always a blast.
Yeah, man. And again, congratulations, and we'll see you very soon.
You got it, boys.
Take
Thank
care.
y'all.
That's
Thank you.
Andy Morgan, MLF Tour Pro, champion now of MLF. Boom. Outstanding. There it is. Hey, want to remind everybody, if you have not liked and shared the live Facebook feed, all you have to do is do that now. You're still in the drawing for the Mega Hella Stray Cast Pack at the end of the show. It's from War Eagle, from TH Marine, Line and Lure, and us Stray Cast. So, put the power poles down, like and share the feed. Stetson Blaylock coming up next on Stray Cast.
Hey guys, Micah Frazier here. I've got a bait from War Eagle. It's called the Screaming Eagle. You may think this is a small 1/4 ounce bait, but it's actually a 1/2 ounce. The Screaming Eagle has got weighted shank of the hook. It goes down into the shank, but it's hidden under the skirt, so you can maintain that compact size. War Eagle's born in the Ozarks and the deep, clear lakes. This is a great bait, deep, clear water, spotted bass, smallmouth. I mean, it's a fish catcher. Y'all check it out.
Nothing stops your boat faster and holds it more securely than Power Pole shallow water anchors. Some folks hear Power Pole and think, oh man, I can't afford that. But did you know you can get the 8-foot Power Pole Sportsman 2 hydraulic anchor now with Sea Monster 2.0 pump and heavy-duty hydraulic hose for just $1,295? It's got all the features Power Pole anchors are famous for, and a single Sportsman 2 will hold a bass boat up to 4,500 pounds. Go check it out at power-pole.com to find a dealer near you. Power Pole, swift, silent, secure.
The swim jig technique is one of the most successful ways to put fish in the boat. Time in and time out, Brovani Baits swim jigs are just the right tool for the job. Beaming with quality, the Brovani swim jigs come in a myriad of colors, feature the best premium hooks and solid trailer keepers to give you, the serious bass angler, the confidence you need to accomplish your goal of putting more fish in the boat. So go to BrovaniBaits.com and start climbing the ladder to swim jig success.
All right. Here we go. Round and round. Where we stop, nobody knows. Welcome back to Stray Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. I'm your host, Pat Renwick. And now for the first time ever on the glorified version of a bass fishing talk show, we bring to you Winya Bay Bassmaster Elite Series champion, Stetson Blaylock, right now. Yes. Wow. Holy cow. I can see by the smile on your face that you see how much this crowd appreciates you right now.
Oh, yeah. I can tell.
Where are you right now? It's very scenic. What's going on?
Well, this is kind of one of our, average everyday Wednesday nights. We just finished dinner and we're kind of sitting out here in front of the grocery store, sitting out here at the truck, just kind of trying to get to the house. It's looks like we got some bad weather coming in, so.
Oh man, this is
going to be an interesting night.
This is the magic of a bass fishing talk show. See, we get to speak to champions in the grocery store parking lots. It's pretty awesome.
Whatever. Huh?
What's that?
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's the magic of this interweb. You know what I'm saying, man? But dude, it's great to have you on the show here for the first time, and pretty much just want to get this out of the way. You probably have the coolest name in bass fishing. You know that, right? Stetson Blaylock is just an amazing name.
It's got a ring to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Most people say that I should be a bull rider or a rodeo guy. And, I grew up on that kind of, my family was a rodeo family, but when I fell in love with bass fishing, that was over. So,
sure.
I took a different path, and man, I love it. It's fun.
Yeah.
You're riding a fiberglass bowl.
Yeah, that's exactly
Oh,
right.
In the waves. Yeah. No different.
No doubt about it, man. It's awesome. This is your third year on the elites?
Third year on the elites. Yep. This is actually my 10th season to fish, professionally on the trail. And, gosh, it seems so hard to win these tournaments, but, it's good to finally get that win for sure.
And speaking of amazing, you're not only did not only have an amazing event, but you're having a great year. What are you like? Are you second or third? How do you? Because there's a tie.
I think I'm third in the points. I think I looked and I was like 14 or 15 points behind the leader, and that's simply because I started out the year in like 52nd place in Florida. So, I started out having to dig out of a hole right off the get-go, but turn things around. Just, a couple of my favorite lakes came on the schedule, and, Winyah was a total surprise, but the other two, Lanier and Hartwell, I had those circled as events that I should do well, and fortunately was able to do that. And then Winyah was next on the schedule, and I had that one circled as a survive and advance kind of deal, but it turned into a little more than that.
It sure did. And now, is Canterbury and Walters, are they tied right now?
I'm not sure if they're tied, but they're super close, if not.
Yeah,
you guys probably know more than me.
I didn't look. I should have. Being a host, I probably should have looked before. I'm going off a Rain Man memory is what I'm doing. But I think they might be tied. So that makes you second. Let's call you second right now.
Second.
All right.
Let's do that, man. Hey, let's go. Let's talk a little bit about. Let's go backwards on this Winyah event. All right. So I want you to tell me about, you're in the weigh-in line, man. Final day. And I think it's one of the Canadians come up to you or something, right? And they're like, hey, you think you got better than Bass Track? Isn't that how the story goes? I thought I heard you talking about it.
Yeah, I really didn't. Even standing there, not standing there. Of course, they do the pull through weigh-in, so we were all sitting in our boats, getting ready to get pulled into the line, and Chris Johnson said, "Man, do you realize how close this thing is?" And I said, "Not even an idea, because I figured I was going to be fourth or fifth or sixth, And he said, "Man, you still might have a chance to win this thing according to Bass Track." And I try to always, not necessarily, sandbag my weight, but I never want to be that guy that weighs in less than what his Bass Track says.
Right.
Yes.
So I knew I had more than what Bass Track said, but when it was all said and done, Canterbury being in 8th place, he weighed in pretty early. So I had some time to do the math in my head and kind of figure out that it was going to be down to ounces to see, who was actually going to win the event.
And it was clicking then. Now the gears are turning, huh?
Oh, they were full blown pedal to the metal I was just, it's like a total rotation. One thought is, gosh, I might have a chance to win this. And your next thought is, gosh, I hope I don't, didn't give this away. just by not catching them today. And, you know, because that's kind of how my final day went. I really thought from about 10:30 on, I thought I'd given the tournament away for sure.
Wow. And I mean, what a mental shift. I mean, that's
sure.
that's exhausting. That's exhausting, Stetson.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of one of those things where when I was running in, I had no idea that I was just, you know, content with another top 10 finish, happy to, you know, have another good tournament under my belt and, you know, finish a lot better than I had originally thought I was going to do at Winyah Bay. And then, like I said, when we get in and I heard how close it was, that I was like teetotally surprised and kind of shocked. And then the wheels started turning like, okay, please don't lose this thing by an ounce. Please just have barely enough. You know, that whole deal.
Sure. Have you ever heard Rick Clunn talk about blind spots in fishing?
Sure. Absolutely.
You know, and I've heard him refer to it in different ways where blind spots could be areas on lakes that we're familiar with that we pass by all the time and just never fish.
Sure.
But those can be some of the most magical spots. They can also be events or moments in our fishing that end up being significant after the fact. And I believe you experienced a blind spot with that cull you made, that half-pound uppity up you did there that ultimately sealed the nail in the whatever you call that.
Sealed the nail
in the seal. Save the whales, kill the seals. You know what I'm saying?
Sealed the nail
Yes.
on the later stage.
But you know what
Trophy.
Yeah. There was several of those situations throughout the tournament, and I'll just name a couple of them. So that final day, that final fish was, gosh, it was probably a 1 3/4 fish. I saw it swim off the bank, and I cast up there to it, and I missed it the first cast. The second cast I threw in there, caught that fish. It was so late in the day, and I didn't have a very good stringer at all. I didn't think anything of it, but when I opened my live well to Cole, I had a barely 12-incher that was skinny.
Okay.
And I noticed that it looked dead. Well, bass rules, you cannot cull a dead fish. So I laid that fish on the carpet. It took like 2 breaths. I knew it was alive. Made that cull real fast, threw it back, put the one I had in the live well. That was the last cull of the event for me. That was a huge key fish. Mm-hmm. But here's the actual, this was not on camera because it happened on day 1. I left my primary area with 4 bass in my live well. I had about 5 spare minutes to fish on my way back to check-in, and I'd already passed this canal that I'd fished in practice, and I caught, you know, one like 2-pounder, and I was like, gosh, I've got like 5 minutes literally that I can whip in there and fish. So I did a U-turn, went back in this ditch, ran all the way to the back of it, stood up. About my 4th or 5th cast, I caught a 12-inch bass. That made my 5-fish limit on day 1. That fish, the very first day of the event, little did I know that was going to be that 1 extra pound that I needed to win the tournament, which is crazy.
Wow.
You know, there's several more of those stories throughout the event, but those two, the first day and then that last cull, are the ones that stand out the most.
And those those after the fact moments that actually just come together to be crucial pieces of the puzzle, man. Unbelievable.
Sure.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And you know, people can say, well, you know, you got lucky, you did. You know, I don't think there's a such thing as luck.
No way, man.
I don't believe in that. I mean, you know, there is definitely a divine power that watches over us, and I think it's more about, you have decisions that you have to make on a minute by minute basis in life, no matter what you're doing.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, some of those decisions you just notice more when you're bass fishing, because you're like, how did that happen? How is it possible that actually did happen the way it did and work out the way it did? And to me, it's just, you prepare so hard, and you don't forget what you learned every day on the water, and you try to take that to the next day and to the next day. And, you know, sometimes you look back and go, golly, that worked out perfect. And I don't know how, I can't explain it, but it just did.
And that's just a great example of how you have to stay in the moment every moment.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a minute that you can waste in bass fishing. I mean, had you said, I don't want to stop there, I don't want to take a chance of being late.
Yep.
You took that little risk and you caught that fish and it got you the win.
Somebody else is going to do it.
Right.
They're going to take the risk.
Somebody else drove right past that and said, I ain't going to go in there.
And I think too, it happens year to year. Like my last 2 years on the Elite Series have been pretty bad. I mean, I finished in the 50s in the points, which isn't, last 2 years that was mid-pack. But what kept me from finishing up there higher was those decisions. I wasn't making those decisions. I was kind of clouded when I had to make a decision. I would second guess it and kind of, even if it's a split second that you waste, that can be the difference in a win or a top 10 or a top 20 or just another good event, So it's very crucial to ride. When people talk about momentum, I think that's what it is. It's your brain and your mind and the decisions you make on and off the water. Everything just clicks for you.
Speaking of clicking and decisions, I love the decision you made about taking that P70 pop bar out of the box and throwing that, buddy. That's a good choice right there.
Yeah, anybody listening that bass fishes and has some P70s that they don't use or they're kind of ugly and kind of scratched up, just let me know and I'll take them off your hands. I mean,
those things are no good. You guys don't even want them. Send them to Stetson.
Yeah, they're not good.
Yeah, there's guys everywhere that's got them and they're in their tackle box and they're like, man, I ain't used this in like 10 years. But it's one of those baits that it has a specific time and a specific place, and when the stars align for that bait, it can be very magical. And again, I had one of those key fish at Winyah also. I had that big one at Hartwell, but I also had a 3.5 to 4 pounder at Winyah on day 2 on the Pop R. That was another, huge key fish for that win.
And basically that's so the P70. It came, for lack of a better way to put it, pre-shaved, right? Didn't it? Wasn't it already thinned out or something? So
I don't know the history of that bait. I just know that it was the biggest, or to my knowledge, I could be wrong, but it was the biggest Pop R that they made, and it has characteristics of a walking bait.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
But the lip and the cup of a popper. And to me, it's the best of both worlds. It definitely, again, it has its time and place. And to me, when you're trying to cover a lot of water, that's not the time and place for it. But when you're target specific pitching to certain places, that is what makes that bait so special.
There's actually, I guess you would call it a select few or group of individuals who practice the art of skipping those P70s under docks.
Sure.
And it's like the most effective dock fishing method there is if you can master it. Supposedly, the legend has it.
Yeah, and I'm not that good with it. Skipping it to me it's something that I have seen done before, but the art of roll casting that thing into the shadows and the shades and up under boat docks is 100%. It's an art that not many people are good at. And I'm for one not that good at it, but I have so much confidence in that bait. If I can get it close, I feel like that those big ones, that bait particularly, you don't have to land it on their head. They will come and get it if you get it around them if they want it. And to me, that's the biggest key, is just you've got to have confidence in it, just like anything else.
Absolutely.
Since we're on the skip casting and casting accuracy, I hear a lot of people talk about Andy Montgomery is one of the greatest casters. Gerald Swindle, great dock skipper. This guy, my friend, my buddy and I, my roommate and I were watching an episode of Ultimate Match Fishing where you had a chatterbait in your hand. And we had to rewind it like 10 times because you were just trolling motor on high, whipping that thing under docks 4-inch gaps without hesitation. I mean, how important is that? Is the casting accuracy to your success? Is that something that you really rely on, getting your bait into those spots?
It's fun. I've fished with Andy Montgomery. I've fished in the back of his boat when I was a co-angler, and I witnessed his jig skipping abilities. There's a lot of really, really good fishermen that are good casters. So I don't compare myself even on the level with those guys. But what I do try to do is in certain situations, in certain events, when I got something dialed in, like that particular deal with the vibrating jig, I, for one, want to master it for that week. I want to not miss a cast all week long with whatever that is. The last 3 tournaments for me, it's been the wacky rig. That's been the key, the number one bait that I've had, and I don't want to miss a single cast with it. And if you watched live that final day at Winyah Bay, I was terrible. I was hitting the limbs, missing by an inch to the right or to the left, and just knew that was costing me. Long run, looking back, it didn't end up costing me the event, but it's very critical to be crisp all week long when you're at a tournament, because the next tournament you're going to be doing something different more than likely. But when you're at an event and you have to be, what's happening, and you have to be on your game and as crisp as you can be with whatever bait that may be, and don't let up until it's over. And to me, that's the biggest key. It's not about being that good with every single thing. It's just when it's time, be dialed in and make it count.
Just like the P70, like you were saying. The same
Sure.
deal. Same deal there. Hey,
go ahead.
The last thing I want to talk to you about Winyah there is, I thought it was pretty cool how you elected not to go on a sea cruise, and you had your cool little sand pit spot there, man. I mean, that's another example of decision making on the fly right there that obviously paid off.
That decision, that's another long story. We don't have time to tell the whole thing, but making the cut at Hartwell helped make my decision on not going to Cooper River, because I didn't get over to Winyah till 2 a.m. the first morning of practice. So I didn't even get on the water till about noon, and I spent my day in the Santee River. It was high, blown out, no bites at all. So I knew I had literally a day and a half of practice left, and I thought, why spend 1.5 days at Cooper River when I can spend 1.5 days within 20 minutes of takeoff, right. 30 minutes, and see if I can't find enough. Again, my whole goal was to save the event. Try to make a top 35, save your points, get on to Fork. But when I found that area, I knew it was a pretty well-known area, but I thought that it had enough potential to top 35, which is basically what I was there to do. Yeah. And got in that area, slowed down, got to fish it the way I wanted to, and just made the most of it. It's crazy that it held up for 4 days.
It's outstanding. I mean, no coincidences, man. You said it
Sure.
yourself. It all lined up. There's no doubt. Man, I pretty much gather that you, above all, are a fan of the sport of bass fishing, as am I, as we all are viewing, and everyone in this room.
Sure.
First and foremost, a fan of bass fishing. It's a crazy time in bass fishing for fans. It is. The rumors, the new leagues, and it seems it hurts my heart sometimes. I'm going to be honest with you. Okay.
Sure.
How are you feeling about all this, man? Does it, as a fan, do you feel maybe upset at any way? I mean, as a fan.
I think as a fan, here's the way I looked at it, and this is kind of how I made my decision back in the fall. When you look at baseball and the way baseball is played, you take a bat, you take a ball, you take a glove, and you go out there on the field. It's been done the exact same way for 100 years or however long baseball's been played.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Tournament bass fishing has been played the same way since it started. And yes, the limits have went from 20 to 10 to 7. Now we weigh in 5 fish, but it's been that way for a long time. That's what, as a fan of the sport myself, that's what I grew up watching. I grew up, watching Bassmasters and watching people fish that classic and hold that classic trophy up. And to me, that's why I'm where I'm at. And looking back, I'm sure glad that I chose to stay. And I think for a fan of the sport, it's good to see everything that's going on, but we really don't know what the future holds. We all suspect that we're in the best place that we can be, whether it be the other two circuits or Bassmasters. Anybody wherever they're at says they're at the best place, obviously, but nobody really knows. I think this is a monumental season in bass fishing, and not to get in too much detail, but I think it was great for me to win an event this year when so many eyes are on the sport.
Absolutely.
So many people are watching every angle, every aspect of it. It was just really good for me and for my family to get the win this year.
Yeah, timing is everything in life. Yeah. They say that,
Sure, no doubt.
No doubt about it. I was having this conversation with our producer Andy before the show, and we all just need to remember that this is about catching bass. That's what our primary purpose is here. Okay.
Sure.
It's not about counting all you professional bass fishermen's money. It's not about worrying about who this is doing what and doing that. But I know that what matters to me is when I get a chance to put my boat in the water, I better catch some damn fish. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
That's what matters to me. That's
yeah. And I think you got guys that I think the whole sport as a whole right now, everybody's goal is to grow the sport, to reach new audiences, I guess is the best way to put it.
Sure.
And I get it. I understand. That's what we're here to do, is to grow the sport. I wouldn't have gotten into the sport had somebody not taught me how to bass fish at a young age. And that's a huge responsibility that we as professionals have, is to make sure that we pass on to the next generation and the next generation, this sport that we love. And I just hope that all the changes don't water down the whole professional angler point of view to where, people don't want to be a professional angler, because it's all I wanted to do from the time I was 10 years old. And just to make it to this level and have a couple victories at the top level and to compete with some of the biggest names in the sport over the years, it really sheds a light on exactly how blessed that I am and how fortunate that the handful of us are that actually get to do this and make a living. And I don't want to ever take that for granted, and I don't want to ever deter somebody from wanting to become a professional bass fisherman, because you can sit there and say, yeah, you don't make much money unless you win, but in life, it's not always about money. And I can tell you firsthand that education's not everything. It is important in some lines of work. But the money in life is not everything. And I think if you can put your priorities in line as life goes on, and even though bass fishing it's kind of like the superstars of the sport, people look up to you that way, it's still life, and we're still human, and we still have a life to live. And I've got 2 kids in the truck right here right now, and to me it's very important to not make it, don't turn somebody away from a dream that they have. And I want that to continue no matter where guys are fishing. It's all about building the future of the sport, making sure that when we're Rick Clunn's age and we're out there competing, that there's young guys to take our spot. And to me, that's one of the most important things about it. And just be normal. That's one thing that I try to do, is just be normal, be a human being.
Whatever normal is to you, I guess.
Sure, exactly. Yep.
That's the whole thing. Hey, I don't know what you know about straight cast, but we like to play games on this show. I don't know if you heard anything about that kind of stuff or not, but we're gonna play a little get to know you game, a get to know Stetson Blaylock game. What do you think about that?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do. I'll say you're the first contestant ever on the Get to Know Stetson Blaylock game, because your name's Stetson Blaylock.
Yeah, you're the only one.
Yeah, you're the only guy that's ever played this before. Where's the DJ? Give us a beat, Miss Jackson. Ah, there it is. It's time to play Get to Know Stetson Blaylock. He's the 2019 Winyah Bay Bassmaster Elite Series champion. Stetson, the largest creature that you have ever witnessed a bass eat.
Oh, goodness. That's a tough one. It would probably have to be a frog.
A frog.
A bullfrog.
A big old bullfrog.
Yep.
Boom.
Yep.
The old green head.
They'll bite them. They'll eat them just like, obviously that's why we have frogs to fish with, but they love them dudes. And I've had them in my live well a bunch of times.
Big old choke-ups.
Sure.
A song that you never get tired of hearing.
Man, that's a tough one. I don't have an answer for that one because I'm a music guy.
Yeah.
But I really get tired of them pretty quick, and I roll through them all. So that's.
What's your jam now?
I don't.
What's your jam right now?
Best song of the week.
I'm kind of on the Christian rap music right now.
Okay, gotcha.
Because I'm driving a lot, and when you're driving those late nights, for me, one of the best artists going right now is KB.
KB.
And, he keeps me awake when I've got those long drives.
There you go. Thank God for KB.
No doubt.
The best trailer for a bladed jig.
Ooh, golly, that's a tough one.
I'm asking all tough ones, I guess.
To me, it's you've got to have crawls, you've got to have shad imitators, and you've got to have swim baits. So to me, it's all about the situation. If I'm fishing in shallow grass around bluegill, I use a crawl bait. If I'm fishing out in deeper grass, I usually go to a shad bait. And if I'm fishing it with no skirt on it, I'm throwing a swim bait on it.
Wow, look at that. That's our second no skirt tip in 2 weeks.
2 shows in a row.
There it is right there. This attitude in professional bass fishing just needs to go away. What is that attitude?
That I'm better than you.
That I'm better than you. The one-upper.
Nice.
Yep. That's, to me, it doesn't matter if you're fishing at the top level or the local derbies at home. When a guy thinks he's the best there is, it really gets on my nerves. And, I hate it when people say, I've had a lot of people, comment to me and this and that, you're on the top of the world right now. And to me, I'm just doing my job and enjoying it to the fullest. And I can't stand the guy at the ramp that says, I'm going to catch 20 pounds tonight or today or whatever it is. Just lose the attitude, man. Just go fishing, do your job, and let your weights speak for itself.
That's a medical condition, It's called the Shooter-McGavin syndrome.
Yeah.
Is what that is.
Here's a quick quote. Quick quote from KVD. If you think you're good, you're not.
You're good, you're not. Exactly. He told you that too, Ryan. Actually,
he did.
In a hotel lobby. With pointing at Ryan's chest with his finger.
You think you're good? You're not.
Like that.
Oh, goodness.
Ricky
Bobby kind of.
Whenever your wife makes you this food for dinner, you eat way too much of it. What food is that?
Whew. There's a couple. She makes a thing that's sausage, potatoes, and squash, and bakes it in the oven.
Okay.
And that's excellent. And we also make a thing called pecani chicken. It's grilled chicken, chopped up in fried potatoes and pecani sauce, and on top of the stove for a few minutes. And it's an awesome little deal too. So those are 2 of my favorites.
And those are the meals you just eat, and then you got to lay on the couch for a while afterwards, right?
Oh, no doubt, no doubt.
Those are the good ones.
Loosen that belt.
What's your dream car, Stetson?
69 Camaro, no doubt about it. I want one tomorrow.
He just won some money, bro.
Yeah. I said that earlier. Family comes first, so I got to take care of them first.
I could just win the next one, then go buy it.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. What's the most angriest you've ever been on the water?
Oh, for me, it's probably when people come in there and cut you off in certain areas or certain places, and they don't even ask, hey, do you mind if I come in or come by you? They just pull in there, go to fishing like they're doing nothing wrong, and they know they're in the wrong because they won't even look at you. That bugs me more than
Grinds
anything.
your gears. That's Shooter McGavin syndrome right there
Yeah,
again.
yep.
It's the
Exactly.
It's the same thing.
No
It's
doubt.
the same thing. Have you ever experienced a phenomenon in life or in fishing that there was just no doubt in your mind that it was the result of a higher power? It could be nothing but the result of a higher power intervening.
There's been so many of those in my life that to me, there's not one I can put. Hey, my tournament wins. Both of my tour wins were that way. Witnessing your kids being born is that way. There's no doubt about it that the good Lord is up there and he controls what's going on. And, you know, if you've ever lost a loved one or witnessed a child being born, those sort of things, and you feel the highs and the lows, you know that you're not in control.
Yeah, it's amazing that when you look back again, those in retrospective, you know, looking back, those blind spots, man. There it is again. Are you superstitious?
Not at all. Not one bit.
No, because
Zero.
Not even just a little stitious?
Yeah, I am. I would, and this is no disrespect, but like I would have a tough time having a 13 on my hat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. To me, again, bass are bass. They eat. You make good decisions. You make bad decisions. You know, there's things you can't control in fishing, and you know, it's just some things happen, and I'm not one that does. The only thing I try to make sure I do every morning is to take my coffee with me as I go out the door, because to me, it's hard to get going without a cup of coffee.
I agree with you 100%. Hey, is it true that Rick Clunn can read the minds of Elite Series anglers that have been on tour less than 4 years?
I haven't heard that one. That's new to me.
Yeah, no, I think that's true, and you're in that category, so he might be reading your mind at the next tournament.
Well, I'll try to make sure and put my blockers on then when I get around.
Exactly. And finally, your wish for the future of professional bass fishing.
To me, it's about just I wish and hope that the politics of the world and of this country don't get in the way of the awesome fisheries that we have. You know, to me, I said this before, it's not about the money. I would fish every day that I could for $0 and have a job on the side just to pay for it if I had to.
Sure.
But to me, it's about having a place to take my kids and fish, and to fish for a living and support my family doing what I love, and just that not get messed up by what seems to be going on in the world around us.
Yeah, and just keep the focus.
Sure,
Keep
absolutely.
the focus. Well said, Stetson. Well said, man. And thank you thank you so much for coming on the show, man. It was great to have you on for the first time.
No problem. I enjoyed it, and have me on anytime. I appreciate it.
All right, we're going to have you on 3 times next week, okay?
3 times. Okay.
Oh, this is seriously, though, man. Thank you so much. We appreciate your support. And again, best of luck on the rest of the tour, man.
All right, guys. I appreciate your time.
Take care. That's
Thank
the
you.
champion, Stetson Blaylock, right there. Woo! Nice. There it is right there. Hey, so, again, where does time go?
Turn and burn.
Where does time go? I'm
Out
asking
there-
a question.
see
Where
that
does
window
time
over
go?
there?
Where does time go?
Right out there?
What is this anyway?
What is this anyway?
What is this anyway? But seriously, I mean, the time only goes fast in bass fishing and bass fishing talk shows.
That's true.
I think that's the only time
No
it
faster than in bass fishing. though.
that is true. Ryan, you got some new stuff going for us, right?
What's that?
I don't know. Remember, you had to talk with me.
What are you talking about?
You were like, Pat, next show, when the show's over, let me talk about some stuff.
I did not say those words.
He said it just like that. You're
No,
like,
I
Pat,
didn't.
let me talk about stuff.
I said let's do sideshows.
Let's do Sideshow Bob
This ain't a
stuff.
sideshow. This is top show.
This is Top Show.
This is top show.
Ryan, what's going on in the world of bass fishing?
Ah, man, everything is going on in the world
What
of
was
bass
the
fishing. I
common
can't
theme?
even keep up.
What was the common theme between these two guys here tonight?
Between these two
that
guys?
you learned that can equate to success. A decision that they make that can equate to success.
Oh, there's definitely a confidence.
Okay.
Just in their, everything they're doing, everything they're saying, they're confident.
They're very confident, but
they're not. Every answer is with confidence, and I mean, I learn more from watching them, hearing them talk. You don't learn. You learn most from those guys when they're not talking, when they got a rod in their hand.
Well, for maybe an advanced angler.
For an advanced angler.
But here's what I learned. Okay.
Well, those guys can cast.
You're not supposed to say you learn more from watching anglers than hearing them talk when you're host a bass fishing talk show.
I'm just being honest, man.
I understand that, but be a dummy.
No.
For crying out loud. But no, what I learned from both of these guys today was that the fact is you have to take some risks. You have to take some risks, or the other guy is gonna do it.
Yes.
The other guy's gonna do it if you don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that whole thing he said about, the end of the first day, going in, catching a 12-incher, that's something that a lot of, in my head, I've skipped that opportunity a bunch of times.
Sure.
Little stupid derbies and gotten second or third or fifth.
And here,
whatever.
And here,
some other guy caught one. Yeah, and
Boom.
there's always the story from the other guy that says, I pulled into this pocket with 2 minutes left and I caught a good one.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, shit.
Exactly.
Should have done that.
It's like we always say on this show.
That's the
Don't
difference.
stop trying.
Exactly.
Don't stop
Never.
trying. Never stop
don't
trying.
Don't ever come in early.
Speaking of never stop trying and don't ever give up, I want you to, if you did not see the Ike Live episode last night, I didn't see the whole thing, but I was fortunate enough to tune in to the greatest moment of bass fishing talk show history ever. Ever. The greatest moment in bass fishing talk show history. Mike Iaconelli interviewed an actual goat. And it was amazing.
A real goat?
It was it was a fake goat picture. And then and then Dave made goat sounds.
He interviewed a picture.
It was brilliant.
And this is the best moment in talk show history.
Best moment in bass fishing talk show history. I say that sincerely.
I'm gonna have to see
I think that it should just be people talking to goats. That's it. But it was great. Whoever thought of that, probably Brian. Good job. And Mike, you pulled it off. The best part was Mike just kept going, see? When he made people uncomfortable. Just kept asking questions. Like we're going to do with this show tonight. We got 3.5 hours left, guys, so you better buckle up. That's all I'm saying.
What was your favorite part of tonight,
Well,
Pat?
my favorite part of tonight was actually I'm just killing time so more people can share and like the Facebook feed.
And if they don't do that, what are they?
They're dum-dums because
That's
they get a chance to win $50 worth of stuff from TH Marine, from War Eagle, from KVD Line and Lure, and from Stray Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. Sure. All you had to do was like and share the live Facebook feed. Are you back from the loo? Were you in the Luatorium?
Yeah, I was going to pee my pants there.
Roll Tide.
Yeah, don't do that. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, JP. Yeah. JP, you want me to read from Roland Martin's book, or do you want to do more stuff?
Sir, you got to get out of here. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Who won?
Are you ready?
Are we going to do the prize winner? The Stray Cast
I already
Mega
ran it.
Super
Hella
Mega
Pack.
So we got a lovely lady.
A lady?
Holly Keene. You are the Mega Hella
Holly Keene.
winner.
The Mega Hella Stray Cast Pack winner.
That's $50 worth of TH Marine. We'll get you a code for that. $50 of War Eagle custom lures.
Boom.
$50 worth of line and lure conditioner.
Boom.
Plus boat to stern products.
Yeah.
And the Stray Cast swag pack.
The Stray Cast swag pack.
fun
Holly,
pack.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. That is amazing.
Wow.
It's
Holly Keene, if you're still watching, hit us up.
Bass and Gals.
If not,
Go
we'll
get
send you
yourself a
Keene.
storage space.
So tonight we have something very special worked up for you for the close of the show. And it's
Is that a Ned rig?
This is actually Roland Martin's 101 Bass Fishing Secrets. Okay.
Okay.
This is kind of the deal. All right.
Hey, what year was that written, by the way?
1980.
1980
is when it was
Okay.
published. So I am now leaving my seat. I am
Alright.
now leaving my seat, taking my headphones off.
Okay.
I'm talking loud.
You should speak into the
I'm
microphone.
talking loud. First off, I would like to thank everyone who viewed tonight. Thank you to the sponsors. Thank you for everybody that supports Stray Cast. Without you, we couldn't do this crazy stuff, and we really had a good time doing it. So thank you very much.
Thank
now,
you all.
Bass Fishing Universe, I leave you tonight with more excerpts from Roland Martin's 101 Bass Fishing Secrets read to you by the Ginger Ninja. Andy, here it is. Yeah. Just read the first paragraph on spawning, please. This is on spawning.
First paragraph on spawn.
Pretend you're telling me a bedtime story. Just the first couple lines. I want to hear about bullhead minnows.
That's not a paragraph. That's like a page.
Just read us a little bit, Andy. Read it in your best dad voice.
As I mentioned in discussing using bullhead minnows for spawning bass, there is a lot of controversy over whether sportsmen should fish for spawning bass. I enjoy catching bass at all times of the year, whether they're spawning or feeding. I don't keep my mini bass, and of the entire number of bass I weighed during the 10 or so tournaments I fished last year, I brought in 1 dead bass.
Roland. Boom.
Bullhead
101 Bass
Minnows.
Fishing Secrets. That is a book you must read. Also, Double Whammy by Carl Hyacin. It's what's going on in bass fishing right now. Remember, you heard it here first on Straycast. Carl Hyacin's Double Whammy. Read it. I'm Pat Renwick, Ryan Popcorn Whitaker, JP Hi, Andrew Ellenberger, and Larry Kyleman. We bid you peace. We see you next week. Straycast.net, Straycast Facebook, iTunes, YouTube's, the Podcast Bean, Buzz the Sprouts, Spotify's, Pandora's Box. Get back in that box, Pandora.
Get up on the Pandora.
I'm going to let my monkey out of the jar and go crazy. We'll see you next week. Boom. Double point, beat, gloosy, pum, pop, ping, pang, pow.